Hey, everybody. Give me a minute to get this thing taken care of. There we go. How's everybody doing today? Welcome in, welcome in. Take me a few minutes to get some stuff set up, but we're waiting for everybody to join anyway, so it all works out. I tell you I'm cleaning my desk up, but it'd be lying. I mean, sadly, I did clean it up a lot, but it still looks horrendous. Maybe if I call it a workbench, it'll sound better. And what needs to see my ceiling that much? See how that works? Hey, Britton. I can't read the other name. My eyesight's getting old in my old age. Give me just a second. I'll get the tablet up. There we go. Hey, Randy, old gray hair Swain. What kind of rugs? Oh my goodness. There you go. Yeah, the fun rugs. You know, the fun ones. That'll teach me to learn how to proofread before I do anything. We're gonna be tying up some catfish rigs and some saltwater rigs, and I guess I don't need to look at myself on this. I just need to see the chat. Okay, so. For those who don't know, I sometimes fish down in Pensacola, Florida. Love fishing in Pensacola, Florida. And I've been broken off twice by things that I couldn't handle. I had 30 or 40 pound mono, and they broke it like it was nothing. So definitely going to upsize my rigs. Also had one that just literally ran off with one of my rods. Was not a fun day. So that leads me to using heavier tackle. Hey, Mike Lockhart, good to see you. Hey, Peter. Do I have Riz? I don't know what Riz is, but you know, maybe, maybe not. Who knows? If you're just trolling because that sounds like a fun thing to do, I don't know how to help you. So one of the things I looked at, so Anthony, I won some rigs from Cindy that Anthony J made, and he included these sinker slides, which have this little Duma flicky on the side. And I was wondering, I bet that would work to hold a hook on it as you cast it to keep your weight and your bait right there next to each other. Hey, Danny the Stinger Manny. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Anyway, going to heavier tackle. So one of the problems that you have with heavier tackle, especially when we're going with something like 100-pound mono. Let me snip off a piece here. So the no-knot Snell, which I think everybody knows, but if you don't, it's as simple as this. You run your line through the front of the eye, whether it be a turned eye like this or a straight eye, And then on the side that doesn't have the closure for where the metal is bent, you just kind of start wrapping it around there, wrap it around 5, 6, 7 times, whatever makes you happy. Let's see, it's 4, 5, 6, I don't know. Who cares, right? And then you run the line back through the back of the eye to the front. And you cinch that down. And you're left with something that looks similar to this. And if you pull and pull and pull, in thinner lines, it kind of hooks on itself, right? It tightens up really good. But on thicker lines, I mean, just a little push and this whole thing comes undone, right? So the difference here is you get to the point where you've done your wraps, okay? You slide the wraps down just a little bit and you push up on the tag end, just a little bit. And that was too much. Let's go ahead and rewrap it. All right, so pull it down, wrap it up, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever times. Like I say, you push that tail end up just a hair, and it creates a little gap right here. So what you do is you run your mono, or your the standing end, the end that you're going to tie to your swivel or whatever, you run it through that hole, and then you run it through the eye, or through the little gap there, and then you run it through the eye. So you're coming behind the mono that's around the eye. And I promise you this works when I'm not doing it, trying to do it in front of the camera. The other thing is I'm using one of these River Cat tackle hooks. I think it's a 12-aught hook. And these things will bite the snot out of you. They are super sharp. And that's how that is. Okay, we'll go with the other end here, run it through. Yay, we're doing that. Then we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. Run it however many times. And then just push up a little bit. And that gives you the ability to go in through that loop and then out the front of the hook. And then you pull on both ends just like you normally would. I meant to get some needle nose pliers, but these will work. And you pull it tight. Nothing different, except this does not come undone easily, especially if you actually put some pressure on it. Not only that, but you now have a little buffer, and it's going to be probably impossible to see. You have a little buffer between your standing end and the bend of the eye there, where it connects back to the hook. So as you're fighting fish over and over, you see we're going to get this movement. You see how the tag end's moving a little bit? So you get that movement. You don't want it rubbing up against that eye because that can create a weak spot, and there you go. So that's kind of my update on the no-knot Snell that I think is going to work out very well. So I wanted to share that with everybody, and I'll do another video on it because it'll be easier that way. Yes, I did hear about your mother, Britton. For those who don't know, Britton's mother passed away from her battle with cancer, and condolences to her and her family. The only saving grace on that is that your mother is no longer in pain. Though that's not a lot of it doesn't help a lot. You'd rather have your mother, but lost my mother a few years ago, and I understand. And there very regularly I have questions I wish I could ask her. And yes, so losing a parent is difficult, and I hate to say thoughts and prayers, but that's kind of what I have to offer. So another, as we go back to talking about rigs here, So another option, of course, is to use crimps. The problem with crimps is they move around on the hook. If you're using a circle hook, you don't want to do that. The whole purpose of the Snell knot is so that you can get that trigger action by coming through the front of it. And it's less on these bent eye hooks, but on a straight eye hook, it's very much more pronounced, but be that as it may. So there you go. And so I'm using 100, I've got 100-pound test, I've got some 60-pound test, and I have this giant spool of 40-pound test from Suffolk's. Now, if you want a good line at a good price in mono, the Suffolk Superior, I get it on Amazon, I want to say this was $30 for a 1-pound spool, which will last forever. So, just a heads up. Another good thing to get, I got these off of Temu, but you can get them off of other places, I'm sure. Basically, they're rig pullers. You hook it through the eye or the bend of the hook or whatever, and then you can get a little more grasp. And it works even better with braid because braid will cut your hands if you haven't already found that out the hard way. Also, just a heads up for anybody who cares, and I'm sure you all do. Ashley and I are going out for weekend dates. Going to go see a band, or two actually tonight. Do some dancing and all that fun stuff. So on these, I'm using size 1 Eagle Claw barrel swivels. There you go. I don't see a weight rating on these, so I just kind of go with bigger is better for the most part. Got the sinker slide, they got some beads, they got, what else do I have? Oh yeah, hooks. And of course, if we want to do any crimping, I've got crimps and pliers and all that fun stuff. So I'm not a big fan of crimping for the reason of it doesn't do well on the hook end, right? Because it leaves it free so that it can waddle back and forth, which is really not what you're looking for when you're using circle hooks. And then for the other knot, this is where I could go ahead and put a crimp on, or I could just use an improved clinch knot. And if you've never played with thick mono, it is a pain in the tush. It does not bend well. Now this is offshore angler stuff. It's the cheapest I could find. And I mean, it's still a good line. It's just not as bendy as I would like. With any luck, I can get this thing. That did not go as well as I would like. So we'll use a different knot. Actually, I'm going to go back to an improved clinch because I've done this and it works. It just doesn't want to work on camera. And you don't need nearly as many turns with such heavy mono because, like I said, it's a bear. There, slide up and pat her down. That was the hook going into my belly. Probably would have helped if I had moistened it earlier. And we grab a hook puller in one end, and then on the hook. I swear it's easier when nobody's watching. And oh, there we go. Now it's setting. Oh. So there we have it. Got one rig. I'm using, I don't know, it's close to 15 inches or so. There's no rhyme or reason other than, you know, kind of around a foot or to a foot and a half. I'm going to put them in these little baggies. And so On it, I just wrote 12-aught, 100-pound, and that's an O, it's not a heart, and that's for offset hook. And the reason being, in saltwater, for a lot of the species, you can't use offset hooks. And by offset, I'm not talking about the bent eye, I'm talking about how the point of the hook is not in the same plane as the back of the hook. An offset hook usually will get you a few more hookups, but it can also do more damage if swallowed versus the inline circle hook. So put that in there. So that's got our swivel, it's got our hook, it's got our leader. Throw in a sinker slide and throw in at minimum a bead. So we got everything we need to connect that to our reel, to our main line, right? So put the sinker slide on, put the bead on. I like using these silicone beads more than the hard ones. I feel it gives a better cushion and all that kind of stuff to protect the knot. And there you go. So I'm going to have them set. I'm going to have them marked as to the hook size, the leader weight, and whether or not it's offset. Because, like I said, it matters in saltwater. Here's another one that I tied last night or whenever I did it. That, and yep, that's 100 pound as well. Oh, those are 12 aught, sorry. And before I lie too much, so of course what you don't have is the weight. That's in this thing. But I'm looking for, there it is, the package that the rubber cats came in. Oh, yes, they are 12 aughts. I was pretty sure, but there you go. I got those compliments of a drawing on, I don't know if it's Creole's channel or Vanny Stones or where, but Bugman actually won it. And I was like, you're my bestie. And he's like, I don't really have a place that I can use hooks that big because he doesn't have the fish that do that because he's up north. So I gave them to me. So yay. I always love freebies. Don't we all? Let's see. I appreciate you coming in, Danny, and giving me a thumbs up. That's very, very nice of you. Let me change this over to all messages just in case I miss anything. Hey, Big Mike, good to see you, my friend. Black Wolf Outdoors, good to see you. Grumpy Vet, how you doing? So, if you missed the beginning of this video, yay for you. I won't waste your time telling you what great video you missed. But I did what I think is an improvement to the no-knot Snell, and I will come out with that in its own video as well, so you don't have to watch the whole live to see that. And of course, there's 100 different ways to snell a hook, right? All kinds of different options, etc. So here I've got some of these are 5-aughts and some of them are, I don't know what they say they are. Anyway, they're very close to the same size as far as the gap goes. But they're a little different type of bend and a little different, longer shank and that kind of stuff. So be using those. I also picked up a bunch of Mustad 10-aught Demon Perfect Circle Inlines and 10-aught. Did I say already? The reason being that last time I checked with River Cat Tackle, they do not have a non-offset hook. And I already put up my 12-aught, didn't I? Yeah. So the gap on this 10-aught is very similar to the River Cat's 12-aught. Similar. Of course, the Overcast has a longer shank and even a longer front of the hook. Um, and that's kind of the thing with hook sizes. They between manufacturers they vary, right? But these are going to be those are for my big catfish, and these perfect circles are going to be for saltwater for trying to play with the big fish. And always keep a sharpener with you. Check them on your thumbnail or a nail. Just kind of see if they'll hang or not. If not, then give it a few swipes until it does hang. It doesn't need to poke through your nail. It just needs to not slide on it. And just because they come out of the box not as sharp as we'd like, so take another one. Yeah, that one grabs fine. It comes down to these things, they're shipped together, they bang around. So, you may lose a little bit that way. So just a heads up on that. Black Wolf, we all have our methods. And that's the thing. I never want to quit learning. What's your view on the hooks with the point curved too? You like this, like the circle hooks? I like circle hooks. I think they're a excellent style hook. Now, I'm assuming you're talking about a circle hook and not the offset or inline, because I've already gone over the offset versus inline. A lot of places, a lot of saltwater fisheries do not allow offset hooks, where the point is not in the same plane as the shank of the hook, because it does have a higher mortality rate. Yeah, any of the circle hooks, I mean, basically what it is they kind of come in a little bit, and then the point actually points back towards the shank. And the idea behind that is, you got your fish's mouth, and he bites it, and as it comes through, it's going to hook like so, and then pull into the side of the mouth. And if they swallow it, because there's not a point that they can still get gut hooked, but it reduces the gut hooking tremendously, because if you're pulling it up like this, then your point is actually bent downward, so it's going to come back out of the stomach. With the offset, then you have a better chance of it catching something, because it's not in the same plane. But anyway, so that's where we are with that. When it comes to rigs, so I've got the sinker slides. What I'm going to do is, even if it's like a cannonball here that can just slip on, I'm actually going to tie a little leader. It doesn't have to be long at all, but something out of, say, 20-pound or 30-pound mono, if I'm using, depending on what weight I'm using for the main line and for the leader line. So it's something weaker, that if the sinker gets stuck, I lose the sinker, not the whole rig, right? Hey, Rude, welcome in. Trying to think of. Here we go. Really, ouch! So this is an offset. You see how the shank's back here and the point actually is further this way, versus a non-offset where the point is in line. So, if you ran your finger like this, it wouldn't get hung. If you ran your finger like, yeah, not so good, right? Any red spots you see, that's just going to bud, nothing important. So I buy what I can get at a good price. That I am a value-oriented fisherman. So, if I can find a good brand or a good quality hook that's offset versus non-offset, I'll buy it. the donut shaped no roll, like the coin sinkers. Uh, they also have this style of no roll. I've always heard it called a river sinker. It's teardrop shape where the line goes through the center, but I think you're talking about the coin sinkers that have the little piece up top as well, the little brass eye. It really depends on what you're trying to do. So I bought these cannonballs. They're good for dragging. I'm not sorry, for bumping, because you lift it up and it goes a little further, and you don't care if it rolls a little bit, right? Now, if I'm casting from the bank, these are not the best because they can just roll around. Um, and then they've got the pyramid shaped sinkers for surf fishing, which the eye is in the what I would consider the bottom of it, and that's so it can grip, and as the water comes towards you, it's hitting the pointy side, not the wide side of it. No snags? Well, you're lucky. Um, if you're not snagging, you're probably not in the right spot for fish. Even if you are snagging, that doesn't mean you will be. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at. I've got different rods and reels combinations, right? So I've got those 4 anvil heavy action. I'm sorry, extra heavy action rods. Those are my river rods for like the Mississippi River or anywhere with fast moving water that I think I'm going to have to fight the current as much as the fish, right? Um, I have the Uncle Lou's rods, which are a medium heavy, and those are going to be more for lakes and such where I'm expecting to find good sized fish, but not really strong current. And then I've got some Cat Tech rods, which were made by Cast King and are no longer made, but those are more of a medium action, and those are going to be good for like park ponds where I'm looking to catch 2 or 3 pounders, right? So you want to fit your leader to the situation, right? A 100-pound leader for a catfish is, I'll say, overkill. Some people will disagree with me. Um, but I had it here and I was going to tie some up, so I did. Plus, catfish are not really line shy, so it doesn't hurt you so bad. Round, no snags. Are you talking like the dragon weights? Like the long cylindrical that bend? Not sure what a round no snag is. Or, I mean, round is the cannonball style. But they're really not no snag. They'll snag anywhere they can get between rocks and such. Most of what I'm going to tie for freshwater is going to be either a 40-pound leader or a 60-pound, and it depends on the main line on the reel as well. Most of my mono lines are going to be 40-pound, or most of my main lines, and my braid is going to be 30 to 65-pound. So you always want to, for catfish or anything that's got teeth like that, I mean, they're not, if you've ever held a catfish, they don't have like bite you kind of teeth, but they do have some very sharp little sandpaper type teeth. And they can do a good deal in abrasion. Plus, as you run over logs and rocks and stuff, you're gonna beat up your line a little bit. So you always want to go a little heavier than your main line for your leader, and then I go weaker than my main line for the line that goes to the sinker. Just to try to lose as little of the rig as possible. Now, when I'm going with like 60-pound line, especially 40-pound, the no-knot Snell works just fine. Doesn't come undone easily the way that I'm worried about with the 100-pound. So this is my 60-pound. This is going to be, yeah, I'm going to say, it says it's a 5/0-ish. I don't know about that. Feels very 2 or 3/0-ish, but yeah, get what you can. So we'll just run it through the front of the hook, twist it down, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many times makes you feel happy. Kind of pinch it there, run it back through the back of the eye, and pull tight. And this is not as, you can still, if you push on it, it'll still come loose, but it's not as prone to coming loose as it is with the 100-pound. And then again for the swivel, just a simple improved clinch knot. Run it through the swivel, go around 4 or 5 times, back through the front loop, and then back and then through the loop that was created by bringing the tag in around to the first loop. And then set that down, give it a little loving and kissing. And like I say, these little guys are invaluable. I don't tend to use them as often. I don't tend to use them as often as I should, that is for sure. But this way you can, and especially with braid, but I've been playing with knots today and yesterday, and my hands are a little ticked off at me. So you hook one end to the other end of the swivel, and then just the bend of the hook, and then you pull. And that's going to seat both of those knots really well. And now when you try to, just a light push, it's not doing anything here. And then, of course, you know, snip off the tag ends because that's fun. Leave a little bit. And got all that hanging off. Don't need near that much hanging off. And there we go. And just for the record, for information for folks, if you do want to order some of these plastic bags, these are the 3x5s, and they're the 4 mils. The 2 mils are just too thin. Your hooks are going to go through them left and right. Now they're going to go through the 4 mils too, but not as easily. So again, take our hook and our sinker and our line. We throw it in there. You could get away with a smaller baggie if you wanted to, but I find the 3x5 is a pretty good size for this. That way, if you wanted to slap a peg float in there, if you were wanting to do a Santee rig, although it should actually be on the leader if you're doing a Santee rig, but you've got room in there for the peg float. Throw on a sinker slide, throw on a bead. Maybe you want to throw in a rattle, you throw in a rattle, and you're all set to go. And 5/0, 60-pound. And then you can put these in a bigger Ziploc or something, so you've got, you know, so you can keep all of the same size rigs together, but they're not going to become a giant tangled mess. You know, like this. So there you go. So just a, you know, idea how to keep things a little more organized. And I think we're going to do several more of these 5/0 60-pounders. I'll just put an S for saltwater on these. What it really means is that it's a not offset hook. Also, if you are going to fish saltwater, check your regulations. Don't use, most of them will not allow you to use stainless steel hooks. Just heads up. So, there are a couple different types of rattles. Well, a whole bunch of different types of rattles. And I'm not going to say what website I got these off that rhymes with Timu, but there you go. you've got this style, which I kind of envisioned something in my head similar to this before I found out these existed, because it has fins that are bent. So as the water comes by, in theory, it should make it rotate. You can get these in this size or a smaller size. And when I say this size, most people know what size a 1 ounce no roll sinker is. So there you go. There's a good comparison for you. And the smaller ones are maybe half that size. So the line runs through the center and all that. The this green style here, that I got some of these from Uncle Lou, actually from a giveaway from Mike's Fishing Home, but they came from Uncle Lou originally. You have these, but they're flat. I mean, they've got bumps on them, so that may help in the current, make them move a little bit. But it just seemed like they should be offset a little bit. Anyway, and then of course you can get demon dragons and all that kind of stuff. If you want to use demon dragons, I'm not telling you what to buy or what not to buy. All I'm going to tell you is when I bought these on Temu, they were about $1 a piece. So you take the hooks off, or don't, whatever makes you happy, right? And you could use these. They're not Demon Dragon brand. They're not the super big ones that you can get from Demon Dragon and others, but they're also not $4 or $5 a piece. Hello, Lisa Swain. Welcome in. That is Burrito Catfishing Lady. And folks, I need to go back. Oh, hey, Arizona Homestead. I apologize. I didn't see you. And I'm going to apologize to a lot of you folks. Hey, Bank Fishing Adventures. Because I don't have everybody. I don't know. I don't watch everybody's channel. There's a lot of people that I didn't even know had channels because I never looked. And so if I skip over you, it's nothing intentional. But it's also I haven't seen your channel. So I can't really recommend it. So Randy Old Gray Hair Swain is one half of Burrito and Randy Old Hair. Yeah, so they're a married couple. They're out in East Tennessee. They fish. They both have channels. They do catfishing mostly, if not exclusively. 351 Cleveland. He does a lot of crappie fishing, if memory serves. Michael Lockhart, I think, has a channel. He talks about going out crappie fishing and catfishing a lot. I have not checked out his channel, and that's on me. Danny the Stinger Manny, I'm almost positive has a channel, but once again, I've not gotten there yet. Forgive me. And when I say I haven't gotten there yet, there are a lot of people that come in with channels and don't stay. And be honest with you, if you think this live stream is bad, you should see some of my earliest stuff. We all grow and we get better and stuff. So it takes me a while to find new people sometimes. Let's see. Britain, I don't think has a channel, but I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Fishing with Big Mike. He is in East Tennessee. He fishes for some big catfish on the Tennessee River. He's not done a lot lately as far as videos, but it's also cold. And he's got stuff going on at home. And, you know, I mean, we all have things going on, right? So I never besmirch somebody because they don't go fishing enough, because God knows I don't go fishing enough. Let's see. Black Wolf Outdoors, I'm almost positive has a channel, and I should probably check that out. Michael Grumpy Vet, I also think has a channel. I have, again, I probably should not admit this, but it is what it is. Fat Cat, he does fishing too. I know he's done catfishing, and he might do trout. I don't remember where he is, but I remember watching one of his lives. Jimmy Davis Bailey, how you doing? And if he's catfishing, I'm going to bet he probably has a channel as well. Black Wolf, like I said, I know, I'm 98% sure he has a channel. Rude, I don't know on that one. Let's see. Arizona Highland Homestead, I almost guarantee has a channel, but again, I have not checked that one out yet. Folks, feel free to drop your links or mods if you want to do that. That'd be great as well, because if you're not a mod, you can't. Burrito Catfishing Lady, already said, has a channel, Bank Fishing Adventures. That's Stacy. He fishes out of Indiana, and he fishes for catfish and crappie, and panfish, and kind of whatever. See, Blackwell does have a channel. See, I'm not crazy. And Blackwell points out a very important thing here. He's at 348 subs and growing, and honestly, getting past that first 50 and then in that first 100, those are the really hard ones, and those hurt the most for me. Just if I could just get a sub, and YouTube takes a few away because it makes them feel happy, and I really should be out supporting more of these channels than I am. Checking them out and such, and that's on me. I work from home. I usually have something on the days I'm working from home on the TV while I'm working. Let's see. So please feel free and encouraged to check all these folks out. You will find somebody you like. Mike Urban, I don't think has a channel, but I could be wrong on that. Let's see. Yes, 922 Crappie Barbecue. I do indeed have CRS. I can't remember most of myself. 922 Crappie Barbecue. I know he has to have a channel. 43% sure I've seen him live. Let's see. Anyway, where I was going with this was, that we should probably, there are lots of people here you could check out. Yeah, Lisa, I know I'm no help. What I could tell you about some of these microphones, right? So I checked out several different microphones. You got the $20 to $25 ones that have this little T-shaped thing that plugs into your USB-C. Has a port on the side that you can charge also, and then 2 wireless mics that go with it that are of questionable quality. They're decent enough. One of my requirements is that it has pass-through charging, which again is you plug the microphone in through USB-C or the receiver, and then you'd be able to plug the power cable into it, because even phones don't last as long as we would like. And I don't know about the DJI microphone because it's over $200, which is why I don't have it. But I have checked out some other knockoffs, and they don't have pass-through charging, and I hate that, because it's like I have a finite amount of time that I can be live with that microphone. Black Wolf Outdoors, if you have the ability to turn on the go, or maybe just OTG, that's usually what's required for these phones to be able to allow an external microphone. Of course, if you have a 3.5mm jack, then there's that method too. The DJI mic is it's ridiculously expensive, although it's got some really nice features, like the ability to record, like 8 hours locally to the device itself. If that way you can, you don't have to worry about whether your microphone worked or not, on a recording, because you've got the extra copy. And you can, add it back in when you edit the video if you need to. I've got, I don't remember the name of it, like Tom or something like that. Something weird name off Amazon. And I like it, except you can't adjust the volume on the microphone. So, I'll put it on my head, on my hat, pointing upward, or away from me, I should say, because it picks up so well that I'm pretty much, I don't want to say pegging the microphone, but yeah, clipping, so it doesn't sound good. I think that one's down to like $40 now, $35-$40. It's not a bad microphone. It's got two transmitters and 1 receiver, and they last for about 8 hours each, it says. I wish I could think of the other one that I had tried. it's supposed to be a really good microphone, but it didn't do pass-through charging, and that is a deal breaker for me. So, well, that's weird. Like, well, now, like some Sony phones, for instance, I believe, have the ability that you can adjust the volume of the microphone, but my Motorola Edge 2022 Plus, whatever, does not. So, anyway, there's that. And yes, I was not as helpful as I would have liked to have been. Not really sure what my DJI Osmo Action 4 is right now. I've got a pretty good idea, but it's not in my camera case, which is where I should have it. But you know how that goes. And for those people who are looking into, as you're starting your channel or whatever, and you're looking into cameras to get, honestly, your cell phone is your best camera. And I say that because you've always got it with you. You can do horizontal or vertical. You can go live with it, which is really, you can go live with the others if you jump through enough hoops. But just being able to go to YouTube and hitting the plus sign and putting in the name of the stream, and if you're even better than I am and you upload a thumbnail, you can get going really quickly. I haven't tried it with the DJI, but I did try it with my GoPro, and with GoPro you have to be subscribed to their GoPro service to go live through them on YouTube. At least that's the last I remember. And that membership also, it gives you discounts on their gear, and I think better warranty on the camera and stuff like that. But when I looked into it, it was $50 a year, but it was one of those things that I got in on a promo where it was basically free. To that end, I am on my third GoPro Hero 9. The first one was just an overheating nightmare. The second one, when I flipped my kayak, not my kayak, but a kayak that I was in at the time, it got water intrusion, even though it shouldn't have. But be that as man, it happened. And I've always had problems with my GoPro overheating, even indoors. Even when set to 1080p versus 4K and stuff like that, because 4K is gonna heat things up faster. We know that. But when you're indoors, 70 degrees, you shouldn't have that problem. Let's see. Really, the A32 is not compatible. That's kind of sad. Man, I realize it's not a flagship phone, but why should you have to have a flagship phone to be able to do that? Welcome in, Gaden. And where I was going with that is I have the DJI Osmo Action 4. I liked it enough that I bought the Action 3 because it was on sale. The Action 5 is out now, so the 4 should be even cheaper than when I bought it. So if you feel like you need an action camera, I would go with the DJI. One thing I will say though is the field of view is very different. So like the GoPro is here, if it looks like this on the GoPro, on the DJI it's going to be further back. Everything looks further back, but I think it also gives you a wider view. It's really strange to me how they're not the same, but they are not the same. Sorry, I'm looking for. There we are. I have a bunch of different sinker slides, and I don't know why, but I like the ones with the longer neck or thing, even though these have the bigger clip on them. So anyway, so again, just tying some rigs. Hey, it's Pontoon Jody. How you doing? Hey, Scotty. Sorry, didn't see you sneak in there. Good to see you, my friend. So we're just doing some, rig tying, and basically trying to get some watch hours and get some more participation, and working towards that big silver star plaque thing that YouTube will never give me because that's a long way away. Let's see. What other fun stuff can I talk about? So CatCon is coming up here pretty soon. And Valentine's Day is next Friday. Just in case anybody forgot. I'm telling you this so you don't continue to forget and end up dead in a ditch somewhere because you didn't get your special somebody something exciting. Scotty will be buying something nice for Stacy, just to keep in practice. Love you guys. Hey, Duke. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, Catfish. I think you're a new name, and even if you aren't, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So we're just tying some rigs, and I know you can't see most of what I'm tying anyway. It's just catfish rigs or saltwater rigs, depending. Basically the same thing. Just your basic go anywhere, do anything. Snell circle hook. And a swivel. And get out my little tighteners here. So if you use these tighteners, you can of course skip gym day, according to me. But I'm also not a personal trainer, so there's that. And what they look like, they're just little hooky things. And they're made to do this. So, and sure everybody knows I'm as cheap as they come. I try to get things for a good value. And I've mentioned Temu a couple of times. Temu is hit or miss. Honest to goodness, it is. Some of the things I've gotten off there were just downright fine, and other things were downright garbage. So you take a little bit of a risk. The good thing is that on every order, so if you order 15 things or if you order one thing, you get one free return. Now there can be 15, if you buy 15 items and you want to return all 15, you can do that in a single return. But you can't return one of the items and they'll pay for shipping and everything, and then turn around, in 2 days and decide that something else from the same order, you want to go ahead and return that. They're going to charge you, I think, return shipping or I don't know, something. Anyway, so there is a cost involved in that. It's not free. You do get your money back, but then they're trying to recoup some of the shipping costs and that kind of stuff. They also have 30-day price adjustments, which you have to request. So you can go in, look at a past order, and go to price adjustment. It'll tell you if it's cheaper now than it was when you bought it, but you can only do that one time per order. And of course, there's minimum orders and all that fun stuff as well. But I also think you get 90-day returns. I may be wrong on that. I know it's 30-day price match stuff. And if you can see it, barely you can see it. I'll move my fat butt out of the way, you can see it better. So this is a rod holder that you mount on your boat. It's got 4 rod holders on it. They're very decent. Randy, old gray hair Swain, was the one who told me about those. He put one on his pontoon boat. And he said he had to add an additional bracket further up. And I think that was more because it's a pontoon. But, you know, for $60, you're getting a T-bar that handles 4 rod holders that will stand up to catfish. You know, it's not like a little crappie rig setup. So, I think they're down to 50 now. So, you know, there are some good values out there. And one of the things for us older people to watch out for is when you buy something from Temu, don't forget what you've ordered, because you'll be browsing and you'll see something and go, hey, I need to order that. And, you know, you knew that you wanted to, but you forget that you did. And by the time it gets, you know, then it gets here and you're like, wait, I just ordered that again. Gosh, dog it. But don't get me wrong, I have the same problem with Amazon and 2 days. So it's not like it's something specific to Temu. I've done that a few times where I'm like, I already bought this. So I did buy a rod from Temu. It's a like a collapsible rod. I think that collapsible may not be the right word, but yeah, you're not going to find good quality full-size rods on Temu, because part of their path to profitability is to sell stuff that's small and easy to ship. So these rod holders are some of the bigger things that I've gotten off of there, but you know, even once it's broken down, it's not that big of a box. But you can get ladder racks for your truck and things like that. What I have found, because I got a truck recently, and I was looking at things like ladder racks and crossbars and stuff for the bed. And you need to be careful, because Temu can actually be more expensive than Amazon on some of that stuff. Not necessarily, but I've seen it a number of times that, you know, I used to think of Temu as, well, you know, you can't get it cheaper anywhere else unless you go like Alibaba or something, but yeah. As far as their reels, they sell a lot of the Saltwater gang reels. I don't know if they're good quality or not. I mean, I can tell you they're not great quality. I mean, that I'm sorry, but should be obvious. So, but if they're, I won't say that they're the worst out there. I've seen people who have videos from people who have bought them, and they're like, well, you know, this is pretty good for what it is, right? You know, $20 reel is $20 reel, right? Can't expect too much. So terminal tackle, that's what actually scares me more than anything. Okay. I bought hooks from them. I was not impressed. If you're looking for budget hooks, Academy's private label stuff, which probably I think is called H2OX now, in the bulk packs, the 25 packs, or even Bass Pro Shops private label stuff, like Offshore Anglers hooks. They're a very decent value. They are not the best. They are not Gamakatsus. But let me pull one out of here. So this is a 3X heavy wire, and it digs right in to my nail. I mean, I don't know what more I can want out of this, except that they call this a 5/0, and let's see, we'll go back to our 1 ounce sinker here. That's not a very big gap. That's about a dime size gap. I think they're a little overrated at being 5/0, but it doesn't mean that. I mean, there's no standard. Yes, and Blackwell brings up a very good point, and that is a lot of things that you find on Temu are smaller than you were expecting. Where is it? It's over here. Anyway, I ordered a pack of beads, and the beads were not much bigger than the diameter of this crimping sleeve. I was like, oh, got it, they got. Now, the sizes are listed. We gotta go, oh, 5mm, yeah, that's what? Something like that. You know. So know what your sizes are. Break out a ruler if you have to. It's not that they're advertised wrong. It's that we don't do millimeters. A good example. These are some Temu swivels. I don't know what strength they are. These are crappie sized anyway, so it's not going to be used for this. It's hard to discuss because you've got, well, everything's made in China anyway. So, even if it's not picking on a brand, and Eagle Claw may very well still be made in the U.S. Let me check. Nope, made in China. So these are made in China. Okay, but they're Eagle Claw. I know what I'm getting, right? If I order swivels off of Temu, I don't know how strong they're going to be. And when you have the fish of a lifetime on, which I don't ever catch, so it's a moot point, but you don't want your tackle to fail. And when a pack of, well, this is a 6 count, but normally like 12 count of these is like $1.20. Is it worth it? And that's up to you to decide. So here are some Temu hooks. I believe I hear my garage door opening, which means it actually is here. Which means it won't be on here very long. So these are 10/0 hooks. It says they're 10/0. Great. And this is my Perfect Circle Demon hook. And it's not that far off. It has a different shape, so it's a little hard to compare. But they're not that far off. And it could be a little bit sharper. With circle hooks, with regular hooks, they're not nearly as hard to sharpen. Circle hooks are a pain in the tush to sharpen. So, there you go. So, and you might get an 8/0 hook from Temu that is this size, which is not 8/0. I mean, I still don't think that's 5/0 from Offshore Angler. But, so you have to be careful of that. Things like these silicone beads, all day, every day. Do I have it within reach? I don't think I have it within reach, but I've got a bag of 1,000 of these little green guys. The silicone ones. That kind of stuff I'll definitely buy from Temu. My crimpers came from Temu. Now, they're not the best, but they'll do it in a pinch, and they'll pinch really well. So, what more can you ask for? My leader, my steel leader came from Amazon. But yeah, so there's things that I would definitely buy from there. The braided fishing line that I have, a lot of that came from Temu. Be careful when you're looking at their fluorocarbon line, because you get little baseball. I'm like, this barrier? Like, how'd that happen? Hey, gorgeous. And so, I'd caution you in those kind of things. Things like sinker slides. I know these came from Temu. I don't care. And they're sinker slides. How hard can it be, right? Catch the fish at the dinner time. There you go. And thank you, Scotty. I love you very much. You're my hero, Scotty. Scotty loves me. And Black Wolf, it depends on what you get. And Temu has an ever rotating inventory. What you see today may not be there next week, and they'll have different stuff that comes in and out. And stuff comes in and out of stock, whole 9 yards. So that's kind of where I'm at on Temu. For things that the strength isn't that important, except for braided fishing, I've been happy with what I got. So. Hey, Buck Williams, good to see you. Appreciate you being here. It is, according to this beautiful woman over here, time to get lost and go to dinner. We're going to go out and do some dancing, listen to some music, have a little fun tonight. Everybody, thank you for joining. And I will come up with another video. I have never used Wish. I've not used Wish or Alibaba. But I will come up with another video more showing that my improvement to the no-knot Snell. And so, but you can also, if you watch the beginning of the video, you'll see it there. Basically, I just tuck it under the first wrap to keep it from coming loose with thicker lines. Anyway, thanks for joining, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and maybe I'll go fishing tomorrow. Who knows? Have a good night. Bye, everybody.